It's Tuesday. It is. It's Tuesday, and that means Ask the Club Day. We got Chris from the Redmen TV, Flav, you know, Bull Street Flying Cock, and Michael Greco from the Carefree Chelsea podcast, and we're going to go through your questions. The first one is from, what's your Twitter, Craig? Craig N22, who asks, who is the manager of the year? Now, the nominees came out, and the nominees are Antonio Conte, Pochettino, Sean Dyche, Tony Pulis, Eddie Howe, and Paul Clement from Swansea. Of course, only got in the job in October. Put Conte aside for a second. Is there who would win out of those after that? Flav.
Well, you should put Pochettino and Conte aside.
Why Pochettino aside?
I mean, we spent I think something like £7 million.
Hang on, no, you haven't.
Yeah.
You've spent £7 million.
Of the money we made back.
See previous video where you talk about Sissoko.
I mean, we spent a lot of money on Sissoko. Okay. Look, we finished second in the league.
He can't be trusted.
With Musa Sissoko in our squad, and Vincent Janssen, who can't. It's. But I mean, look.
Didn't he sign them though?
Can't give a manager an award for winning nothing all season.
You know, that's a bad decision to sign them.
Putting the pressure on.
Yeah, well, all right, fine. Yeah, stick him in there. I can't bother. That's fine. Can I take actually my suggestion?
Go on.
Marco Silva.
Who? Marco Silva just got relegated.
Yeah, but since he took over, he would have had Hull, which squad is a mishmash of players. Had to sell Livermore, and they're 12th since he took over. If he'd done absolute wonders there, and it's a shame. I mean, for Hull fans, I mean, I don't really care that much, but you know, it's a shame given the fact what they've gone through. I said at the very start, at the beginning, it would be amazing for them to stay up because they had 13 hit players in their side when they started. Horrendous first half of the season. He came in, and I just think he's an excellent manager, and he should be on the list. Yeah,
ultimately, the way they started the season with, although they actually started the season okay, the fact that they had such a crap amount of players available to them, that's what's cost them.
Yeah, they had an amazing start actually. The first couple of games, the first few games, but so he'd be my shout.
What about Clement? So he came in October. They were bottom of the league, 19 points in 26 games. It made them safe. I was certain they were going down. I was absolutely certain they were going down. I said it from the start of the season. It's completely proved me wrong. And for him, that was a big call for him to make because he had a nice, easy life, winning trophies, assistant manager at Bayern Munich, and he went to Swansea to give it another go, and he's done brilliantly, hasn't he?
Well, he has. I think everyone thought they were going down, weren't they? You know, they turned us over at Anfield. Difficult team to beat when he got them pairing and stuff. And I like Dyche though, to be honest with you. I think you've pointed out on the agenda there, second lowest wage bill. I think when you rank the Premier League table over the course of like the last 5 or 6 seasons, it's very, very similar to the wage bill table. So that almost puts Burnley in a relegation battle. What he's done with the home form this season has been outstanding. You know, absolutely unbelievable. The results that they've got at home. Now, of course, their away form isn't there, but what team is when you're at that end of the table? You know, it's been particularly bad. But just having that home form and galvanising that squad and that fan base has been unbelievable. So I think it was him.
Yeah, and in terms of taking, because obviously they went down and had to go back up, but he spent such a little, what happened there? Little sexual tension.
Yeah, just a little. Well, it's not.
The fact that
it's just sexual. There's no tension.
Oh right, sorry. The names that Burnley squad's got, it's not great, is it? Like even
I would make a case for Sean Dyche. The only fact I would go more with Paul Clement is that Sean Dyche has had that squad of players for a long time.
That's true.
And so he's had time to galvanise them and to work them as a team. And what didn't work last time has obviously worked this time at home.
Yeah,
and obviously their away form was the worst, was terrible, and their home form has just kept them up. So I thought Swansea had a great squad. And Guidolin, obviously, it didn't work out, and then they brought in Bob Bradley. I don't know what the hell that was all about.
I like Bob Bradley.
That was just a wrong decision. And then Paul Clement just had to pick them up again. And I think he really has. He saved them. He saved them a lot of money. And I quite like Swansea. It's one of those clubs you don't want to see go down.
Yeah, true.
Because when they played football, they played really well. You know, against Liverpool, they played brilliantly, and even against Man City, they were unlucky not to get something from that game as well. I remember.
No shouts for Eddie Howe in terms of good football. You know, a small club.
He's got King firing. He looks good. I like the look of him, Eddie Howe. I think he's destined for great things.
When do you leave that job if you're Eddie Howe?
He's left once and it didn't go well for him. Tried to move up, and you see it happen. He's at home, right? He's got a board that
he's safe there, isn't he?
He's safe, but he's doing all right. But how far can he go? You know, it's 12,000 capacity. It's tiny ground. it is tiny, and it's only. I mean, ultimately, money buys you success. That's why Spurs are building this stadium, because hopefully we can compete. It's why Chelsea and Man United and Man City are the most successful teams in the last few years, because they can spend the most amount of money. That's why what Dyche has done is incredible, because, like you say, the wage bill generally reflects where you finish in the league. And to have the second.
So, all that being said, we'll put Conte in, Pochettino back in. Who are you going for?
It's Conte.
It's Conte, isn't it?
Conte.
Yeah,
It's Conte. It has to be. Has to be.
Okay.
Yes, Conte.
Oh, wow.
It is actually. I mean, you know, he won the league. What can you say?
Yeah. I was just trying
But
to get more.
he has had all the advantages of having
Not Tony Bewley.
all the money and no European football. So we'll see next season.
What about Sam Allardyce? Unbeaten run as England manager. Saves Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
He's do you know what?
CV
He's
looks
a
good
bloody
there, doesn't
manager.
it? Yeah. It hasn't got the dates of your time as England manager.
Yeah.
Just look at the stats. The stats are,
Exactly.
That's all that matters. Right, Clavs Maris Maizes. What should Sturridge do with his career?
Continue.
Don't retire yet.
Yeah, not at all. Like, look, I think he's 27 years old. He's supposed to be in the prime of his career. I think he needs to find a team where he can be himself. And,
Has he got to go?
I think so. Yeah, I think look, he doesn't play in the style of football. He can't play in the way that we need a striker to play. And that's not a bad reflection on him. He's not that type of striker. He's not a striker who's going to press every single guy and make selfless runs, which is what we've had with Firmino up top for most of the season. He's a clinical finisher. He's lost that pace. He really has. His injuries are, you know, the guy went to a warm weather training camp in Spain and come back with a cold. Like, you know what I mean?
But why did it work that season with Suarez?
Because we were playing two up top.
Right.
You know, we found a way to get the two of them working together, and Klopp formation doesn't allow for that. We played two up top yesterday against West Ham and we beat them 4-0. Sturridge gets a goal, Origi gets a goal, and the other guy who was playing in the 10 gets two. You know, and that worked, and you know, he's a clinical finisher. If there was one chance dropping to anybody in the 6-yard box, I'd want it to be Daniel Sturridge on our side. And he can go on and be a great striker for somebody else. Whether it will be at one of the top clubs in the Premier League, I'm not sure, because I think physically he's just not there anymore. And which is a shame, because, you know, by all accounts, he gets a lot of bad press about his attitude and stuff, and I've met him a few times. And, you know, we were at the Player Awards last week. Daniel Sturridge was the only player that goes over and takes a photo with a little kid, and I've seen him do that every time I've met him. I've seen him take photographs with kids and just go that little extra mile that none of the other Liverpool players do. And you know, you see Liverpool do these tunnel cam videos now behind the scenes, and he's walking down and he's talking to the young kids about the game, and he's walking them through that, and you don't see that side of it. Nice, you hear he's selfish, you know, because he wants to score goals. Every striker wants to score goals. That's what makes them good strikers. You know, and you know, a lot gets said about him, like how religious he is and stuff like that. Being religious got him where he is today. You know, and he thinks that, and that's fine. That's just
still so name,
isn't it?
Fundamentally, still one of England's top strikers for me. I think he's still got a great career in front of him. You're right, he needs to find the right team. He doesn't work at Liverpool anymore. I still think it could be a top 6 player, top 6 side player.
If you're Jurgen Klopp, then if you're not thinking about how Sturridge feels and his career, you're just concentrating on making Liverpool successful, would you get rid of him?
Yeah, I think so, because I think you can still get good value for him. I think, you know, someone like a West Ham will spend 30 million quid on Daniel Sturridge, and I think we can get more for our money elsewhere. You know, he's only made 6 starts this Premier League season. That's not enough. He's had a horrendous injury record for us. You know, I think he started in like 44% of the games he's been available for over his entire Liverpool career. That's not good enough. You need your squad. You need to rely on the players in your squad, and they need to be there every week. Chelsea have had this season hardly any injuries.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think hardly any injuries, and what Flav said, the fact we don't play European football, has been two big factors for us this season.
John Garcia, I'm not going to say his handle. John Garcia. Which of the top 6 needs the most surgery during the summer transfer window?
Wow. For me, Manchester United, I think.
Yes.
Wow.
I think they need to get rid of quite a few of their players. And people were saying, well, you know, Mourinho's come in. It didn't work the first season he came to Chelsea. I think we finished 3rd that year. And then obviously we won the league the following year. This is his 2nd stint. And people might think, well, the first year's done okay at Manchester United and maybe he'll win the league next year. No, I don't think I don't think United have got a chance of winning next year. They've got to get rid of a lot of players, and then I think they need to regroup and rebuild. Fundamentally, they've got to keep hold of their amazing goalkeeper. That is a number one for me. That would be a great re-signing, wouldn't it, to keep hold of him? I think Paul Pogba has had a lot of stick this season. Will like Didier Drogba, the first season he was at Chelsea was terrible. He was like a dog chasing a balloon. Then all of a sudden he just clicked. He got so much. He got so much stick from the fans. It was terrible. When he was kicking off with the fans, left, right, and centre, and then the next season, bang, something clicked.
In my head, I've just got it's like the start of the game, and you know, some people just throw a couple of balloons on.
Yeah,
Drogba's not even
he was like a dog chasing a balloon. He couldn't control the ball. He couldn't get it. But yeah, you know, and the stats speak for themselves. But I think Pogba has got that for next season.
I've changed my mind. I was going to say Man United, but I think one of the major issues is Ibrahimovic. You know, they have to replace him. He's probably not going to come back from that knee at this stage of his career. But Rashford is the balls, in my opinion, the most. I
thought you said you changed your mind.
I have. I'm just saying. Yeah, right. I'll leave United, but Rashford's great, so they've got a striker there.
Yeah.
Man City.
I agree. I think Man City.
I think they're in desperate need of these two fullbacks in order to be able to play the system they want to effectively. It looks like they're going to sign Walker from Spurs for 50 mil. Yeah, where he wants out. So he hasn't started the last 4 games. He was dropped from Wembley.
Good surgery.
Dropped to him. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Although, no, I mean that's great for them. I'm gutted about that, to be honest, but you know, whatever.
Just had a moment there, didn't he, to himself?
Yeah.
For a second,
we just saw him die a little bit inside, didn't we?
I would say Man City too. I think they still need a goalkeeper. Like that's a quality goalkeeper makes such a difference. Not just in the saves they make, and even more so with the distribution and how important that is now. But just that calmness that gives to the rest of the team, it's crucial for them. And Bravo's he's not been good enough, has he?
No, it's weird how bad.
Awful.
It's weird how bad, because he wasn't, couldn't be. Why would they buy him?
Yeah.
So what's happened?
What about Arsenal?
I actually think it's Liverpool.
Really?
To be honest with you, yeah, I think, look, we've done really well this season. I think we could have finished a lot higher, but, you know, we're not near the title. So why wouldn't we need changing? You know, we've had loads of injuries this season, like everybody else, pretty much apart from Chelsea. Injuries to key players, and we've done nothing. Like we really struggle without Mane. We've really struggled without Adam Lallana. I think, you know, we've not had European football. Hopefully, well, we're going to have European football one way or another. If we can't compete on just the Premier League season with the 2 cups, how are we going to compete with European football? Yeah. I think Klopp makes 7 to 9 signings this summer.
I think
when he won the league in Dortmund, the first time he signed 9 players after winning the league. So he's not afraid to do it, you know, because he knew that season they didn't compete in the Champions League. The next season, they got to the final because he understands that competition.
Do you think it's depth, or do you think it's the first 11?
Depth,
look,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think to improve a squad, you buy better players for your first team, and your first team has dropped down to your squad. It's both exactly the same. You don't buy squad players. No. That's stupid. Why don't you just buy the best player available?
No, because you can buy a player who you can then develop, and then they can become a first team player, like Wanyama's.
Liverpool have done too much of that. We've bought too young for too long. You know, we need someone who's a goal scorer. We need a 30
I think Liverpool are probably the weakest second 11, don't they?
Yeah.
If you put out second 11,
Trent Alexander-Arnold, 19 years old. Ben Woodburn, 17 years old. Ovie Ejaria, these are 17 years old. These have all got games for us this season. That's mental.
That's mental.
It's mental.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well,
so I think Liverpool need to improve the most. And I kind of like Spurs. They've got a great first team. Liverpool got a great first team when they're all available. But without a couple of key elements, we're not the same side. You need to address that.
Let us know what you think. Which team out of the top 6 needs the most transfer window surgery?
Plus, I want Liverpool to be better.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, that's a good way to be. Final question.
Good for you.
Good for you, yeah. At the KED, Juve versus Madrid in the final of the Champions League, coming soon. If you could take a player from one of those teams, I know Flav would have one straight away. I know exactly who it is. Who would you go for? Go on, Flav. Dybala. You're desperate for
just
Dybala,
give him,
mate.
just go in there. Say here's £200 million. You're coming with us.
Brilliant.
200 million, £400,000 a week. There's lots I don't like about modern football, but Dybala isn't one of them.
But you don't want Ronaldo, you don't want Bale.
Nah.
Dybala's your guy.
Bad Bale.
Don't want Higuain, little piggy scoring his goals.
I love a piggy footballer, and he's king of the piggies. But no, mate, Dybala is going to be the bollocks.
Right. I'd have Tony Cruz.
He's the bollocks.
He's probably one of my favourite players.
You'd have Tony Cruz.
He's so good.
He's
so good.
Over Ronaldo and Messi?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, Ronaldo. Sorry.
He's amazing. He's so good.
I'd have Gareth Bale myself.
Yeah?
Yeah. Gareth Bale at Chelsea would be incredible.
I think he's heading out of Real Madrid, Bale.
Yeah, there are those rumours, yeah.
I'd take Bale and Bonucci.
Yeah.
I love Bonucci.
And
I love
Bonucci,
Italian defenders.
Yeah.
Oh, Chiellini.
He's cool.
I think Juventus will do it this year. I think they are so strong at every single position, from their fullbacks, from the goalkeeper, fullbacks to the forwards. I think this is their year. And also, being a stat man and a gambler.
Buffon. Do you know what Buffon?
Yeah, being a stat man and a gambling man, no team has retained the Champions League. True. So I think that could go against Real Madrid. I hope it does. I really do. I'm sick of Real Madrid.
I don't think anyone wants Real Madrid to win.
No,
I don't want either of them to win. I think they're both detestable football clubs. I know, but the only I think out of all European clubs, the only two that I dislike more would be Barcelona. That's it. That's my thoughts.
On that bombshell.
There you go.
So let's know which out of those two teams do you think is going to win the Champions League? Which player from one of those teams would you like to have in your team, and which team? Get your questions in next Monday on the Ball Street Twitter. That's at Ball Street. Later on in the week, we're going to be doing our team of the year, which is defensive. Well, no, it's centre midfielders. 2 centre midfielders this week. So that's on Friday. So make sure you don't miss that. And last thing, we're doing a watch along on Sunday for the last game of the Premier League season. Me and Flav are going to be there. The network are going to be giving us a call after their games to get their reaction. So it's going to be really good. If you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe to Ball Street, because it'll be there on Sunday, ready for you to watch.
Gent can fuck off as well.
Ghent.
Yeah.